For the first 30 pages of Celeste Ng's Everything I Never Told You, I wasn't sure if I was actually going to be able to finish the book. The father's the same age as I am. He's Asian. His wife is white. Mine's Dutch-German. Our daughter is the same age as Lydia Lee in the book, navigating her own teenage dramas and trying to find her own place in the context of a larger family. The book opens with Lydia is dead, but they don't know this yet. And it goes on to explore the circumstances that lead to her disappearance and subsequent death. The book is set in the late 1970s in the small all-American town of Middlewood, Ohio. It's a different era. It was only as recent as 1967 that the Supreme Court struck down bans on interracial marriage. And Gallup poll said as recently as 1997 was the first year that a majority of Americans actually approved of it. I grew up in an era where I was only one of 3 Asians at my school that had 2 other black kids. But I am painfully aware of every single one of the taunts that James endures in the story. What do you do when you're walking home as a teenager and you're confronted by primary school kids singing Chinese, Japanese, turn around, look at these, pulling at their eyes and making bucktooth faces? And portrayals of Asians in the media wasn't that great either. I grew up with Long Duck Dong, and a generation before that was Mr. Yunioshi at Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I guess these are small and minor complaints compared to being black in America today and the aggressions that they have to face, to say nothing of the daily trials and tribulations that Middle Eastern friends of mine have to endure, to say nothing of when they travel. Fortunately, my daughter is growing up in a different environment, surrounded by diversity and a preponderance of biracial couples, to the point where, frankly, all kids are going to be beige in a generation or two. And Asian culture is enjoying a bit of an ascendancy right now, with Japanese manga and K-pop, Korean fusion cuisine, and not only that, but tons of positive reinforcement and representation on YouTube. But in Everything I Never Told You, James grows up intensely aware of his other status and wants nothing more than for his daughter to fit in, to enjoy that sort of social life that he never had. Lydia feels this acutely and spends hours pretending to have phone conversations with her friends, speaking to a dial tone just to appease her father's worries. Lydia's mother is rebelling against her own mother and her desires to have her just grow up to be a happy homemaker, raise kids, and cook healthy meals for the family. She wants to be something extraordinary and works hard to become a doctor when her plans are somewhat sidelined with the pregnancy. As a result, she ends up foisting all her ambition on her daughter. It's odd, as she is the white half of this biracial couple, she ends up being the ferocious tiger mom. With practice drills in physics and chemistry and biology, Lydia just can't be the daughter that either of her parents seems to want. And she builds this tenuous house of cards that threatens to crumble and fall down, and she finds solace in the local bad boy in town. I understand Lydia's need to appease her mom as well. I grew up under same pressures, with my parents wanting me to be a doctor and marrying a nice Korean girl. And it was very nerve-wracking for me to actually introduce the fact that I was moving in with my white girlfriend for the first time. And I was very tentative about the process and just simply said that, no, I'm moving out of my place and I'm moving in with my girlfriend, Chris, who they knew was white. And all they asked was, well, do you love her? And I said, yes. And after a long pause, they said, well, you're going to need some boxes. And off we went. And it worked out very, very well. But I've been very lucky that way. Everything I Never Told You is a very powerful story. It has something that everyone can sort of relate to, whether you're cognizant of being other or whether you're aware of your need to foist your own ambitions on your kids, or what it's like to have the ambitions of your parents and that weight of that being put on your shoulders, and how to live up to those expectations and how hard that can be. It's one of those stories where I think of the characters long after I put the book down. And I can't help but wonder what has happened with that family and the aftermath of the death of Lydia Lee.